Coach Matt from the Scorpions. This is another one of our skill videos. We're going over topics that involve individual defense or one-on-one defense. The first video in our series was going from a off-ball position to on-ball position. As you know, there's multiple players in the offensive zone, and when we're a defenseman, most of the time is going to be spent with our player not actually having the ball. So we have to know how to surveil the field when our player doesn't have the ball, and then get on his hands when he does get the ball. So the basic principle is wherever the ball is, we have to be able to have an idea where the ball is, but also where our player is. So Harrison's been nice enough to help us out tonight. So if the ball is moving around above the goal, we're at X here, or behind the cage, I need to be able to cover Harrison, but also be able to help out the other defensive players on the field. When we're defending from X, he's not an immediate threat to score, obviously, unless he has the ball. So a lot of times we will sink above the cage if the ball is up top. As the ball gets closer and closer, then we'll start to get further back of the goal and towards X. So if the ball were about one position away from Harrison, what I need to be able to do is be able to see the ball and see Harrison. So I always think about having one foot towards the ball and the other towards Harrison. You want to ideally have your stick up in a lane to knock down passes. Once the ball goes to Harrison, in the last video we discussed that I have to approach him in the appropriate way. So the first thing we need to do is we have to approach him at full speed. So I will essentially sprint to him, but in order to not overrun him or not get run by, the last few steps I need to take short, choppy steps, or what I call the hurry up and wait approach. Once I get on him, then what I want to do is I want to, in general, take away his strong hand. So once he has the ball, so I'm watching him get the ball, if I were doing this full speed, I'd sprint over to him, short, choppy steps, and now I'm in my good athletic position, chin up, chest up, and I'm taking away his strong hand. So that's the same almost from any area of the field. We'll discuss when we do videos from up top, there's some nuances there. So the principles are the same, going from off ball to on ball. Once I've gotten to Harrison and I'm covering him from X, Harrison will be taught to try to attack my top foot. So if Harrison's a righty, he doesn't want to settle for going lefty, so he's going to try to attack my top foot. So I have to be able to handle that. There's two ways to handle that. The first way is I can try to, if Harrison's coming at me in slow motion, and I don't want to give him the side, I can give him a little bump to force him to go to this direction. The other thing I should be doing is thinking of myself as kind of like a cornerback, where I'll maybe give him a little bit of ground. Now we're indoors because it's Montana and it's winter, but behind the goal is a lot larger than this on a lacrosse field. So I can actually give a little ground without giving him his dominant hand. After I give him a little bit of ground, at some point, he's going to choose a side. If I do my job and he can't get to my top foot, he's going to start going lefty. So I've given a little ground. Now what I do, once he chooses that left-handed side, is I'm going to open up my hips, and now I'm going to run with him, okay? Now, since we're behind the goal, and he's not an immediate threat to score, what I really want to do here is prevent him, again, from doubling back and coming to his strong side. So I'm going to actually be trailing him a little bit as he's going up from X. So just kind of do this in slow motion. So I'm trailing him a little bit, because if I'm playing him too far ahead, then H can double back and go to his right side, and now he's got to his strong side. So I'm trailing him a little bit. Now, once we get to about 2 yards behind the goal line extended, I need to engage him in some way to prevent him from getting above the goal line. And so if H is a left-handed player and I'm a right-handed player, as most of you guys are, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to turn him back, okay? And in this hold here, this is called a forehand hold. So I'm going to be in a good athletic position. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have my hand on his hip. And what I'm going to try to do is take away this top side. So I'll get my hand on his hip, and then I will pivot to try to prevent him from getting upfield. What Harrison's going to try to do is push into me a little bit, and once he gets some good ground, he's going to try to inside roll on me. So in order to prevent that, what I need to do is I need to take a big step as I do this, and then basically ride him behind the goal. So that's as if I'm a right-hander, or you can look at it as if I'm a lefty and he's going righty. So if you're going the opposite hand as your attacker, you want to be using that forehand hold. Now if Harrison were to get to his right hand, again, I'm trailing him here because I want to prevent that rollback. When he gets about 2 yards to the X, now I'm going to use more of a V hold. All right, and so Harrison's going to probably try to keep driving up, and I'm going to fight him a little bit. You have to be careful of a hold call here. And then I'm going to try and turn him back. Now Harrison again is going to try to inside roll me. So what I need to do is I need to take that big step and prevent him from doing that and riding him here. The last point I didn't mention, but it's really important playing defense from X, is we need to take advantage of the crease here. So one of the reasons I can kind of trail Harrison is I can use the crease and he can't. So if I trail him here and he's going there, I can cut him off and get here to this position, okay? So playing defense from X involves going from off ball to on ball, good approach, then we are shading our attackman to his weak hand. Then what we're gonna do is we are gonna try to either jam him a little bit if he attacks our top foot, but most likely give a little bit of ground without giving up our advantage of taking away that strong hand. We're gonna run with him and trail him and prevent a rollback. We're gonna use the crease to our advantage. And then about 2 yards when we get from the goal line extended, we're gonna try to use our strength and our leverage to turn him back, okay? So again, if I'm a righty and he's going lefty, this is the forehand hold and I'm using that here. And if we're on the other side of the cage, let's go to the other side real quick. So I'm using this to my advantage. Now I'm gonna get here, I'm gonna do that V hold. So that's defense from X in essence. The last point is if Harrison does a good job, just say we're on the right hand side here, and he's got a bit of a step on me and I can't turn him back, I can either try to hook him a little bit and then ride him out. If I can't do that because Harrison's big and strong, what I'm gonna do instead is I'm just gonna drive him up the sideline. So I'm here this way, I can't turn him back, so I'm just gonna drive him out a little bit. I wanna keep him off this area of the field, which is called the island. So that is basically defense from X.